All right, guys,
Just three of us.
welcome to our episode 17 of Mac Yak. We are having some issues with FaceTime tonight. FaceTime it's not us this time. This is Apple. And we're going to talk about that a lot today, as a matter of fact. Services. This just happens to be one of the services that Apple has that is breaking. In fact, right now, Steve just went to a big exclamation point. So, or I did actually.
Yeah, we're sitting here getting ready. Got all those little screens up and so.
Start streaming again.
Man,
It should still be on the same one, so.
Apple's really trying hard to block us.
They don't want our voices heard.
All right, we're back live again, looks like.
Oh, I heard you that time.
Hey, yeah, we got sound now.
All right, for some reason, guys, when FaceTime decided to do its thing, I lost all audio on the computer here, so I had to restart Wirecast completely. So we are back.
Hooray!
Or for however long that.
Yeah. We don't know because for some reason I think Apple is trying to stop us from voicing our opinions, and I think our opinions are getting even more and more worse against Apple here. So we'll see.
And they can't counter our opinions. That's the real problem.
Yeah.
I mean, if Tim Cook wants to connect with us sometime, I mean, we'd welcome him.
Well, clearly these free services work so well that I want to pay for services.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Where'd Jay go?
Uh-oh. Yeah, Jay
Tim
just
Cook got him.
disappeared. And Mike disappeared. Wait, no,
I'm
Mike.
still here.
Oh, okay, you're the exclamation. Okay. There you are. You're back now.
Okay, Jake will
So
be
we lost
right
Jay.
back.
No worries.
Yeah, Jake
All right, guys.
This might just be 2 hours of us trying to keep FaceTime connected.
It'll be interesting.
This might be the most exciting 2 hours in anybody's life. Well, if it makes anybody feel better, and it really shouldn't, I did finally get Skype to work on my Mac. So, in case of emergency, the backup plan has been implemented.
There you go.
And Greg, you might want to consider installing it in the background while we're doing this.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, welcome to Mac Yak number 17. After a rocky start, I thought we would have all these issues ironed out, but this is not our fault. This is actually
It's not my fault either, just because my name's Rocky.
yeah. Okay, no pun intended there. So, but anyways, welcome to episode number 17. We got a pretty good show for you tonight. Hopefully.
Oh boy.
Oh no, what happened
They're saying
now?
that we have an echo.
Oh jeez.
Hold on.
Just a second.
All right, should be gone
Sock
now.
puppets as a
Yeah.
as like a intermission.
Should be
It's not
gone
that
now.
bad of an echo.
I like that sock puppet.
Well, the echo
Lordy.
should be gone completely now. So,
Good.
when I restarted Wirecast, I forgot to turn the little headphone thing off. It comes up automatically, so that's where the echo comes from. Yeah, there's two places that it does that. Anyways, welcome.
Third time's a charm.
Exactly. I had everything set up properly until FaceTime decided to really mess us up.
And I'm back.
All right,
Welcome
guys.
back, Jay.
Welcome back. So, we're actually going to start talking about. Let me get to the. If I can find it here. Let's. Should we start talking about the Apple event right now? So we get it out of the way.
Oh heck
We'll get the important stuff done
Ties
first
into
before
our
it crashes
services.
again.
Oh, no. I figure we should just follow the script.
Jay, what is this? You got the joke thing on. Oh, you got pluses over everything. That's what it is. I'm sitting there trying to figure out what is this.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, you did. I'm sitting there getting ready to do a. Okay, I'll show everybody what Jay, the joke one is. This is Jay's idea of putting out a joke here. We're going to discuss the Apple event brought to you by the all-new Mac Yak Plus. All the pluses there. So, yeah.
For only $9.99 a month.
Yeah.
You can get
$9.98.
Well, we got to undercut them by a penny. $9.98. Yeah.
Look
So
at the value
anyways-
you get.
So, anyways, we'll go back to the real one. Seriously, though, what do we think of this event? Well, like Jay said, I think Apple's thing is that they were saying everything was a plus. Well, the first thing that I actually found out, I got some.
they're still saying they're hearing an echo.
They shouldn't be hearing an echo.
Well, they'll have to deal with it.
Oh wait, I know why. Because they're now.
That's not that bad of an echo.
No, because when I restarted FaceTime, I forgot to mute. There, it should be good now.
Okay.
Anyways, I got some screenshots I took from the actual keynote, so we could discuss these as we go along. The first one is Tim Cook on stage, where he says, easy to use, attention to detail, private and secure. What do we think about the private and secure issue? Because I've been noticing a lot of Apple ads on TV lately talking about privacy and the phone.
I think you missed the best part of the keynote. Was
What's
the
that?
intro, and that was it.
Well, that actually was a damn good intro.
It was.
You heard the Mac startup chime, which you don't hear anymore.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that was one of the things I was talking to you guys about. Is like they had the startup chime, but yet they took it out of all the new Macs.
They just kick us while we're down.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're talking about private and secure. To be honest with you, I think Apple is the most private and secure phone. However, I don't think it's the most private and secure phone. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't think
Mainstream
one
it is.
exists.
Exactly. There's always a way in. Just look at what's that company that made the thing that hacked the iPhone for the FBI? I can't remember the name of it.
Celebrate.
Celebrite, yeah.
Yeah.
So they actually have something that was able to hack it, but I don't think with the new iOS, I think that made that pretty much obsolete, because now I think it's after like so many hours, you can only plug in to charge your phone. You can't pull any data off the phone using the USB port or the Lightning port.
All right, we need to take a second. People are still saying that there is audio issues. So I just muted and cranked up the volume on the stream, and I don't hear it. Maybe someone else can.
I don't hear it
We
either.
need to take
I
a
don't
second.
hear. Well, I can't pull it up. So
Well, it's sort of echoing on this one,
And cranked up the volume on the stream.
but I don't know.
David says it's not an echo. It sounds like a TV in the background.
It's sort of echoing on this one,
And cranked up the volume on the stream.
but
Sounds normal on mine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's going
It's
on.
a few second delay.
Sounds
It might
Yeah.
be. It might be FaceTime, to be honest.
no, I think I know what it is. It's on here because before I had turned it off. There's a lot of things I have to turn off on here to make it not echo.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, and I had it all turned off until we had the problems with FaceTime.
Wait. Let's just say this. Can you guys understand us and hear us?
Yes.
We apologize if it echoes a little bit, but it's going to take us the entire episode to fix it otherwise.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So as long as you can understand us, then
Lando
we're
says
good.
it's gone now, so
All
we're
right.
good.
All right,
Let's run with it.
So, anyways, private and secure. So, what do you guys think about that?
Well, I want to say attention to detail. My butt. What detail?
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree with you on that one. Yeah.
Detail
but-
means quality assurance. And all the bugs we have and all the
Look at
issues
what we're
we
having
have.
right now with FaceTime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a services
And the
keynote.
only detail that they are watching like a hawk right now is their bank accounts, because everything is subscription and give me your money.
We want
That's
more
the
money.
only-
Well, the thing is that they're not selling as many iPhones now. So guess what? They got to find a way to get more revenue. So what's the news way? Let's do subscription stuff.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is. They're trying to make up their deficit in iPhone sales.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And
But
they're
the
trying to-
stock fell the same day.
I
Well,
think
I think in the first 5 minutes, I posted on my Facebook, innovation means slapping a plus on it. And within 10 minutes later, they made my point for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
was,
they've been rumored to do some sort of TV service for the past 4 or 5 years or so, ever since HBO Go was doing their own thing and stuff like that. So I did not expect to be blown away or anything, and I obviously was not. The only thing that's kind of interesting to me is the different array of content that they're bringing to a platform, but I'm very curious to know the exclusivity of these TV shows, because anybody who is in the production of those things knows that Netflix doesn't just release something and it's only on their platform. No, they make DVDs out of it. They sell syndication rights and stuff like that. So I don't know what's going to go on with that. But
You're not going to see the same thing with Apple. You're going to see it on iTunes. That's what you're going to see it on.
Yeah, but with these production companies, a lot of times, what happens is they want to make more money, so they put out a Blu-ray release or whatever. But Apple says Blu-ray's a bag of hurt, so who knows?
Well, here's the thing, though, and this is what I think, is Apple has the deal with these guys now, and they're basically, Apple's going to tell them, you're going to do it our way or the highway. That's my opinion.
It'll be interesting to see what they do.
I think that one's going to come and bite them in the ass, because they're going to be releasing something to the platform that has the smallest market share out there. And Netflix, I mean, like 60% of the people in the United States have Netflix. How many people have iPhones? What are we, like 4 or 5% of the population?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you.
Maybe 10. I mean, Androids are everywhere. I mean, they're so cheap and prolific. I mean, the things multiply like rabbits, but you're not going to be able to watch any of Apple's TV shows on there
No, you're
unless
not.
you have the Apple app, the Apple television, a Mac computer, and people with Android devices. I guarantee you, they don't have any of them damn things because they're usually anti-Apple or they're just don't have the money to pay for it.
Well,
Which I can't blame them.
I heard rumors that they were actually releasing it to other platforms too.
Yeah, it sounds like their AirPlay.
I'll believe that
announcement-
when I see it.
Yeah, it
I
sounds
agree
like
with
with their AirPlay announcement, that's kind of halfway maybe there. What I'm interested to see is the pricing because someone that I spoke to on Twitter made an interesting point, and it'll be interesting if they go in this direction, but I don't think they would because they want to grab all your cash. But for example, I pay Apple, what is it, $10 a month for the 1 terabyte of iCloud storage or whatnot. I'm already paying them $10 a month. I don't buy Apple Music or the subscription or whatever. Well, it'd be interesting if they had like a bundle thing of you get music, you get X amount of iCloud space, and you get the TV or iBooks or whatever they're offering.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do that, but what I'm saying is it would be an interesting lure for people like me who is like, I'm already giving Apple $10, $20 a month. Maybe the first year it's at a discounted price. I think that's a way for them to maybe get subscribers because Netflix was not $10 when it first started. Netflix streaming was like $6, $7.
I think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here.
I'm just saying.
I was going to try to go in order of the
It won't load for me, so I can't read. So I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. Oh, no, that's fine. No. The keynote, the Apple TV was the very last thing they talked about. But the first thing I want to talk about, and they said this is available now for everybody that upgraded iOS, is Apple News. Okay, and guess what they've named it? News Plus. It's Apple News Plus. Wow, what an original name, huh?
Oh, and you get everything that you've gotten before, except
plus
instead of buying.
But it's $9.99.
Now, I think that is a nice thing for those individuals who have more than like a couple subscriptions to something that they like. But somebody like me who doesn't really subscribe to any of that, I mean, I read it when I want to read it. I'll buy a newspaper if I want to buy a newspaper. It means nothing to me. I'm like, it's just Apple going, oh, well, you're going to save $4,000 a year.
That was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. If you had to buy every subscription available, you would spend $8,000 a year. Who does that? Who does that?
Exactly.
They have that much time to read all that.
Yeah, I guess if you're a guy on a commute and you really want to read something, but I mean, I see people with a magazine or a newspaper.
Yeah, I mean, not even freaking Goodwill Hunting would read $8,000 worth of magazines and newspapers.
I don't think my iPad can hold $8,000 worth of stuff.
No, iCloud. There you go.
Oh God! Then I have to pay extra for iCloud storage. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I already subscribe to a digital magazine through iTunes through an app. And
I do too. I got two of them.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with it. I mean, if I guess there were a bunch of magazines I was kind of interested in, but I don't think people read magazines anymore. I mean, I don't. I
actually do. I read two of them on my iPad. I have the apps for each one of them. One is Macworld. The other is iPhone World or iPhone Life or something like that. Yeah. I can't remember the name of it, but I read it. So, but that's the only two. But it only cost me for both of them about less than $10 a month. So why would I want to pay $9.99 for the only two I'm going to read? I mean, plus they didn't really show a lot of good magazines and stuff on there. A lot of tech stuff, as far as a lot of it was a lot of this social stuff, like
Cosmopolitan,
people, stuff like that. Who's going to read People magazine or I don't care what actors do.
And this
stuff like
this
that.
is a low blow. I know. I'm wearing freaking plaid. But talking about fashion magazines while you're wearing a freaking Moonlander outfit, it's not going to fly with me.
Hey, no, wait. That's a mechanic's outfit. Mike is already ahead of the trend. Mike should have been on stage.
That on stage.
I'll put my flannel on now that you mentioned it.
All right, guys. But according to Apple, this is one of the things that Tim Cook had said is that Apple doesn't allow advertisers to track you. I call BS on that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, track you asterisks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Apple doesn't. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that's
Yeah,
how
those
are they making
magazines
money?
wouldn't sign up because they won't make money. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how are they making money? Because Apple already has the Apple ads built into iOS. I don't know if you guys remember that. I mean, it's so low
Mm-hmm.
key now because
Well,
they don't
Yeah.
ever
iAds
talk
is
about it
dead
anymore,
now.
huh?
iAds is dead now.
But it's still a part of iOS. They just don't say anything about it.
Well, it
It's
doesn't
still
allow
there.
it doesn't allow advertisers to track you, but I'm sure it allows the magazine to track you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the magazine can just share
An
non-descriptive
aggregate of
data.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then,
Okay.
the advertisers can forward it forward. So
Yep. All
So
smoke and
I mean,
mirrors.
to be honest with you, I think this Apple News Plus is just is a gimmick.
I hope
I
it
gotta-
takes off for the aspect of the magazines and stuff that are kind of failing. I hope it does make an impact and kind of give them new life and bring them back, because I think that is a lost art that is starting to diminish.
I agree with you there, but I don't see it really helping. I mean, I hate to say this, but millennials today don't sit there and read print anymore. Everything's on their phone.
And it
Okay,
has to be
if it's not
20 characters or
Facebook,
less.
if it's not Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, or something like that, they don't care.
I know a few people that actually subscribe to magazines that are younger than me, but it has to be a particular interest of them. And like Rocky was saying, this might be a way to lure some people into that, but I think the pricing is not aggressive enough, because if you're gonna, yeah, I know these magazines are marked up because of the cost of print and this and that, and they're gonna say, well, you buy 2 magazines, that's. But for
Yeah.
me, a casual person, I think I'm better with the a la carte stuff, but that's
Yeah.
just my personal
A
option
magazine
here.
has to be really. The thing is, what is a magazine gonna give you that Mac Rumors doesn't do already on the day
Exactly.
it happens? You know,
Exactly.
unless it's a comparison or a review of a certain product or software suite that's like 10 pages that I'm really into, but I'm still not going to buy a subscription.
Yeah, I
just
think
buy
for
the magazine.
yeah, I think for technology magazines, it's really tough. But I think for other type of magazines, it might flourish better on this system than any other system, because the print time is just too long in tooth for technology.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing is too, is that these magazines need to be a lot of multimedia type of stuff in it. You just can't have flat print on a screen. It's just not gonna. It's not gonna work, because when you got a device that can do multimedia, you want to see multimedia embedded in that magazine. The problem with that is it's going to cost a lot more to make that stuff than $9.99 is going to pay for all these.
Yeah.
You know what?
I mean-
the most interactive thing I've seen in a magazine? Take a guess.
Scratch and sniff
Centerfold.
samples.
It was an advertisement.
Yeah.
It
Advertisements
was an ad.
are.
That's the most.
Yeah.
That's the most flashy thing I saw in a digital magazine. An advertisement.
Exactly, and not in the actual stories or articles or whatnot.
Well, and here's what I miss in magazines, that if they're really wanting to bring them back, they want to bring back the lost art. The thing that I remember is going into, whether it be Barnes & Noble or Borders or even at your local store, you're walking by the magazine aisle, and it's usually, at that time, it was more, it was out there in your face. You know what? I could see on a Macworld magazine, I remember seeing the brand new iMac on the front of that sucker. I wanted to look in it. I started looking in it. I see pages, just pictures and beautiful, great, information about it, and I wanted to have it. I buy the magazine because I wanted that.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore. If they had like the new Mac Pro and they just went into it about it, beautiful pictures, I'd buy that magazine. It would catch my eye and I would buy it.
But you're nailing it on the head, because when I was subscribed to a magazine, it was late 90s, early 2000s. Well, I didn't have money. My dad was subscribed to it. You knew what day it would arrive. And when it fell through the mailbox, my dad and I would battle each other for it. Like, who's going to read it first? Because you didn't have Mac Rumors, or you didn't know what was going to be in that magazine. And that was the fun of reading a magazine.
Yeah.
But now, it's like, what is
It's already by the time you see a magazine, it's already old news. It's like,
And I think, just harking back to the technology aspect of it, back in the day, if you read some of those Macworlds, because I've been doing a lot of research in them, a lot of the times they would get products in development that were not finished earlier, so they could review a product, they could review a Mac or something before it was released. So they had a review under embargo that they, couldn't release until a certain time. So they were like pushing it like as many close days as they could before the release of the product, so they get that out in time. So a lot of those magazines would have like a brief, and then the next month might have a review. But today there's no waiting, so it's like, why should I pick up a magazine again just about technology stuff when I have the news online? But that's just one narrow vision of this. I could see it being popular for some people, but just not for me. That's my 2 cents.
All right, I think we've beat this one down into the dirt there, I think. Next thing in the keynote, one of the biggest, probably the biggest part of the keynote was the Apple Card.
Oh my God.
I don't know if you guys looked at this. It's like, Apple's getting into the credit card business again.
I actually thought this was the least harmful thing of the keynote, because
Me too.
It's a service that's optional. Just Apple used to have credit cards from their Apple.
That's what I'm saying.
Stores.
Again, that's what I'm saying. Again, I said.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Although it's a cool looking card. It's titanium.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's secure and blah blah blah, and okay. I mean,
it'd be Bengate all over again.
The interesting thing that they took a stance on was like the no fees or whatever. Now, the reason I say that is because no. Hear me out here. I'm sure there are fees on it. I'm sure it's not, But what's interesting is, you ever set up a credit card with Apple Pay? You have to download the app and do this for that individual credit card issuer and this and that. I hope that, if nothing else, that Apple having their own card pushes other banks to do similar things and adopt similar practices, like not waiting a week or two to get a card in the mail so you can't use it right away. That's where I'm going with this.
This is not going to. It's not going to be that way, because it's going to be on your phone mostly. You're going to have the physical card for readers that don't, with the chip in it. That for physical readers that don't take Apple Pay or whatnot. But they're pushing Apple. This is what they're trying to do, is they're trying to push Apple Pay for more places. And with the regular credit card,
I'm all for that. I don't see anything wrong with it. And
I don't either.
You got up on the stream right now. If they can make that happen, their APR is a little steep, and trying to get a credit card from what was it?
Goldman Sachs.
You better have $1 million in your bank and a credit history of 900.
But okay, here's the thing though, and I'm going to pull up this next thing. Okay, you got the no fees, lower interest. This is what Tim Cook was saying on stage. Then he got his, I guess, VP of whatever the Apple Card division is.
Apple Pay,
and she comes out on stage and she goes, no late fees, no annual fees, no international fees, and no over limit fees, which was a bunch of BS. Because if you read the fine print,
they still charge the interest.
There still is a late fee. It's just not. It's not put as a late fee.
Yeah, they don't call it that.
Basically,
it's an Apple
tax. They're going to charge you more interest. Is all they're going to do, which is basically the same thing.
Yeah, you still get a penalty.
Yeah. So I know Jay went and read that, and he's like, "Aha."
Well, let's have a look, because there's a lot of information on there. Of course, there's a credit approval.
Which pretty much most of us probably will not qualify.
I was saying, unless you got a credit score of 900 or better, you might as well just write off these damn things.
Any other bank would work with you, but Goldman Sachs is like, wait, is that less than 1,000?
We don't need you.
Yeah.
Do you drive a Bugatti Veyron or not?
Exactly.
I like the whole thing about the cashback, the daily cashback. That sounds good. But in order to use it, you need an Apple Cash card. Now, I happen to have an Apple Cash card.
Well, we should all have one.
I got there because I never signed up for one, but I have one. And the variable APR ranges from 13.24 to 24.24%.
Ooh, that's a big range.
Based on credit worthiness. So we're going to be paying 24. And
Can I just get the card and frame it?
Actually, 24%.
Well, there's a picture of the card on the stream right now. I put a picture up already. So
Actually, 24% APR is actually kind of low compared to a lot of cards that are starting at 30 to 36.
Personally, I don't care much about the APR because, just
as long as you pay it off the month.
Don't overspend. Make sure you can make the payments. You're good. And if you miss a payment, we won't charge you a late fee or apply a new high interest penalty rate. Sounds good, right?
Yeah.
However,
It all sounds good on paper.
You will continue to accrue interest on your balance at your regular interest rate. Could be worse.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, if you don't pay it, it does go up.
Yeah, my credit card charges me a late fee and the interest. So, double whammy.
So if they can make good on everything we saw in the keynote, I'm going to try to sign up for one, and I'm going to take the 200-point hit on my credit score because they're going to decline me. But
let us know how that goes.
Yeah, because if I can get the card, I definitely see the benefits. So
yeah. I kind of agree with you there, but you're going to have a lot of
the physical card is no additional charge, so I definitely want that.
Oh yeah, you can resell that bad boy.
Just sit there and get it, and then cancel your account and say, "Well, at least I got the card."
That's what I'm doing.
Then I'm going to go on YouTube and go, "Does it bend?"
Well, you're probably going to get people to do that. They're probably going to get the card. They're going to blend it. They're going to shoot it. They're going to do all kind of stuff to it, just like they normally
I want to see if it's really going to be metal. If they really mean titanium, or if they mean that it's just painted titanium.
Well, where I work at, I've seen American Express cards are metal now. Some American Express cards, yes, they are.
They are,
and they're metal, and they don't bend at all. They're thick.
Yeah.
Why the heck?
It's harder for counterfeiters.
It is. It's harder for counterfeiters, and they just last a lot longer. The plastic ones, you have to replace like every 6 months or whatever it is because
mine's falling apart.
They fall apart, but the metal ones don't.
The metal cards also make the rich people feel important.
Yeah.
Makes their wallet heavier.
What is I forgot which company that is, but you got the black card that's supposed to be, someone has a black credit card, and that thing weighs a ton. It's the credit card made out of adamantium or something. That thing weighs
adamantium.
I'm covering.
People hand it over to you like, oh, look how flashy.
And you're like, oh, whoa, damn, this is heavy.
Don't worry, I'm covering the numbers, but my card could talk.
Oh, I've had cards exactly like that.
It's right on the chip too, so it doesn't work all the time.
Nice.
Hey, my credit card's translucent green. Does that mean it's good, or?
Hey.
My credit card's the same color as my iMac, for crying out loud.
Now,
someone goes free 2013 Mac Pros could use a new doorstop.
Now, I didn't watch most of the keynote. Did they cover music at all, or they just covered the news and the TV stuff?
Actually, no music at all in the keynote. But the next thing that they talked about in the keynote, we'll get into that.
My favorite topic
is the arcade, Apple Arcade. Okay, I think this. You see where we're going with this?
Where's the plus? They didn't put the plus on
well, that's
there.
because they haven't made another one.
It's the first release.
It's the first release.
Arcade Plus.
But they're charging a fee for it monthly. It's got to be plus.
Arcade plus.
But anyways, this is a new thing that they came out with. Basically, what they're doing is it's an a la carte or all you can eat, pretty much gaming. So you pay. They haven't put a price out yet, I don't think, because it's not due out till fall of this year.
Yeah.
So they haven't put a price out on it yet. I'm willing to bet you
just for their games though, and ones that they approve. I don't think it's every game in the
not every
store.
Not every game in
it'll be like a library.
It's going to be developers that want to put their games in a subscription-based service like that. So in other words, you're paying like whatever, let's say $10 a month. You get to play as many games you want, but if you stop paying that $10, guess what? All those games you can't play them no more.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you, because I only play one game and I don't care about any other game.
Unreal.
Is this a competition to Steam? Is that what they're trying to do? Or
think Steam actually no, because Steam actually you have to buy each game that you want to play, except for the free ones.
Right.
So Steam is actually free. You
This
just
would
have
be
to.
more along the lines of Xbox Live.
Yeah, I think what they're going after is
In a way.
Not really.
For
'cause you can
example,
play games, but you don't need Xbox Live to play them if you want to play online.
So, for example, I have a PlayStation 4 and I have the PlayStation Plus service, and basically, you pay what was it, $50, 12 months, and you get a library of every of like 3 or 4 games each month. So, as long as you keep up the subscription, you keep your backlog library of whatever.
That used to be free.
Same things on Xbox One.
Well, no, the free games were
Or
never
Xbox.
free, but the online play functionality used to be free, so they
Yes.
took that away.
Mhm.
Now, I think it's kind of neat. This is why I subscribe to it, but I also get a discount because I buy the 12-month gift cards at Black Friday, so I don't pay $50. I pay like $30. So to me, $30 a year for maybe a bag of games that I may not always play, but maybe I have the online service, that makes sense to me because I bought into the console and blah, blah, blah. I'm a little hesitant to see what they do with this. However, I'm hopeful because I'm the type of person that will buy like one iOS game every second year or so. Like I don't buy a lot of games for the iPhone, but if there was a way where, because I've seen plenty of games on the App Store where I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. I don't want to pay $10 for it. I'll play it for like 5 minutes and stop. If there was a way for you to have like a shared library of games where, let's say, they came in and out and whatever, I think that's a cool idea. That's probably the most interested service I am interested in, depending on the details.
I kind of agree with you on this. This is probably one of the better services that they came out with during the keynote. And depending on the price now, they haven't released a price for that yet. But depending on the price, because if it's like $20 a month or so, it's going to be like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, you think about this. I mean, the TV stuff and the book stuff, it's kind of already been done by others. So the video game stuff is actually kind of interesting. It's sort of like that rental service GameFly that used to, I think they're still around, I guess. I used to subscribe to them back in the day because I didn't want to pay $60 for a game. I just wanted to play around. But
Hey,
what
that
I
was
think,
Blockbuster rental right there.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
what I think is interesting is that little sizzle video that they did with the the developers, and they are right, because I do know a few people who do make video games and they release them on the app stores and stuff. It's that race to the bottom because you want to be that $1 game or that $2 game, and a lot of these publishers have a lot of support from this or that, so they could afford to put the game out at $1 or $2. Where you have some indie developer that, to break even, to pay his developers and his artists and everything, he has to put out $7, $8, $9, and some people just aren't willing to pay for that. So I think it's an interesting model that'll be different to have. This, I don't know how much Apple has given them, but hopefully it's a sweet deal for them.
Well, anybody remember that game Flappy Bird or where the guy invented the game? He didn't really invent it to be as popular as it was, and it was driven by ads. Of course, he had ads on the bottom. He made a buttload of money on that game, and he had so many people wanting him to put out another one. I mean, he just got inundated, and he said, "Nope, I'm not doing it no more," and basically just dropped it.
People were selling iPhones on eBay with the game installed.
Yeah. I mean, you get little spurts of moments like that, where they get a game that people can play for a few minutes, and
it harkens
it's the one-hit wonder. Like I'm still trying to figure out the wireless pixeless mod, because that'll be my.
If you ever do that, you'll be a millionaire.
Exactly.
Now, my thought on it is there's a huge disparity coming from being a gamer that's been into it since back in the 90s on up. There's one thing that you can notice, even going all the way back into the 80s. Game quality has gone down because there's two things that play a factor into that. One is the amount of backing that developers receive, and the other side of it is how people are perceiving the cost of a game. So, and the big companies as well don't want to pay out money. The big companies want big hits, but they don't want to pay for them. So they're not shelling out enough money for the good developers to actually go in, spend the time and the effort. I mean, games used to take years to develop, and they would develop them. They would spend big money on them. They would pay for the developers to come up with a game that would be stunning. It would catch your attention.
They would QA them.
Yeah. I mean, UT 2004 is a perfect example. Original UT is a great example. Those are phenomenal games, and they were in development. They were done well. They weren't just thrown out there like some little, jack in the box to catch attention.
I think the problem we have with most games nowadays is that they're just all the same. It's like first person shooter, first person shooter, first person shooter. It's like, and they use the same game engine for everything. I mean, look at like Fortnite, PUBG, all these new ones that are coming out all have the same exact gameplay. It's like, you guys can't think of anything original.
Well, that's why I think this service might be cool, because there are, at least in the video they showed, there are very interesting concepts of some of these developers where they said, we basically can't afford to hire people and do such a long-term development without a service like this. So if it fosters that, I'm all for it.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's move on to our next topic of the keynote. One of the things they came out with, and it was kind of like a little short thing, was Apple TV channels. I don't know if anybody saw that one. That was, I'm thinking.
I totally missed that. Then again, I didn't actually watch any of it.
Yeah, this was the part where they had all the actors and stuff coming out, but the Apple TV channels was actually a part of the next thing we're going to talk about, Apple TV Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why Apple TV Plus? I mean, now basically what they're trying to do is they're adding their own TV channel to the Apple TV instead of like the Roku, the Netflix, the Hulu. All that stuff is already on Apple TV that you can get. They're trying to combine all that now into one thing where Apple's going to have control over it.
This is where I think it is honestly straight up the gimmick. Of anything in the entire thing, this is the gimmick right here.
Especially
it's
all the
useless,
actors
it's stupid, and the market's already flooded.
Yeah.
Well, I think if this came out a few years ago when they were saying, hey, you could buy ESPN, you could buy HBO, you could buy whatever channel you want a la carte, that would have been a game changer. But everyone's been there before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless they come out with a crazy price strategy where it's not $8 a channel, then maybe you're talking.
I hate to say it, but I think Apple, again, and they're always late to the game. They always try to do things better. I see that. But this is not doing things better. This is just, they're just straight up late to the game.
They're just stripping out somebody else's app interface and just putting all the channels in one bucket. I mean, okay, who cares? I didn't mind switching apps. I still don't.
Yeah. Now, see, here's the thing that I think if Apple really wanted to do this right, that they should have done, is looked at a combined approach. When cable used to be in its glory days, it didn't matter which cable provider you went to, you still got the same channel options. It was all the same. You just picked the one you liked the best, that treated you the best, that had the best features of what you wanted. If Apple were to come out and say, okay, let's do that with all these streaming media services, you can get everything that's on Netflix. You can get everything that's on the regular TV. You can get everything that's on your favorite, like I subscribe to anime channels and things. You can get all that, and it's right here. You pay one fee for the ones that the blocks or whatever that you want, just like it used to be for cable. I would be all for it. That would be the game changer, because then I could choose something by what I want, and I think they would be setting a new standard for the industry, which would be going back to the old standard, which is the better standard. And then we wouldn't be sitting here with 50 apps that we pay for just to watch the few things that we want to watch. But they're not going to do that.
No, they're not.
Yeah. And I think it's these other companies like Netflix publicly said they don't want to sign on because it doesn't fit their model or whatever their excuse was. I think eventually, if it's successful, then maybe you'll get more people to join, but it's way too early to tell, and Apple's too late to the party to get people excited about this.
Yep, I agree.
Unfortunate, but true.
All right, guys. I know we're a little bit out of order here on our thing here. I know Jay's probably really ticked off at me for not following the... But because of the problems we were having with FaceTime, I wanted to get that out right away. But I want to do this one next because, and this is Greg Rutke had some family issues there with his father, so I'll let him talk about it there. Give us an update there, Greg.
Yeah, well, I I hadn't talked about who it was yet. Yeah, my dad had a heart attack 2 weekends ago. He had two. One that Saturday, and then one that nearly killed him Sunday. This is actually his second and third heart attack. He had his first one, 5-6 years ago, maybe. I can't quite remember. And he was just getting caths, and But he wasn't really sure if he was having one. He thought he was kind of close. He wasn't really sure he was having one Saturday. Sunday, he knew he was having one. And, the heart attack he had was 95% of the people don't survive the ambulance trip. But we were lucky, and he survived the ambulance trip with no problem whatsoever. They got him stabilized and everything. And that's why I was in Florida last week, was because of all that. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk to you guys really quick about heart health and all that stuff. And I'm going to put a link right here. Wait a second here. If you're not sure if you feel funny, and you're not sure what's going on, get yourself checked, because this stuff, there's usually warning signs before anything happens, anything major. And, my dad was lucky. He's been lucky many times now. And he had a 4-way bypass during this is why I haven't been talking about the Apple event, because I didn't need to watch it anyway. It was kind of worthless to watch. But I was actually waiting in the waiting room of the OR area for his 4-way bypass to be completed when that was going on. So, yeah, guys, check out that link. Get to know the symptoms. And I'll actually be doing a video probably about it very soon to tell you guys more about heart health. I know it's a tech channel, but I feel like it needs to be.
Oh, incorporate the Apple Watch.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, I can incorporate the Apple Watch.
Actually, Greg, I would actually, if I was you, I would probably buy or try to get your dad to buy the new Apple Watch. It's supposed to monitor that stuff, and I think even the older ones, actually,
the third gen and up,
actually will monitor your heart, and if you have something irregular, it will actually alert you if you have a regular heartbeat. I would highly suggest your dad get at least a third gen or higher.
As much as I hate the Apple Watch, the heart monitoring and the fall detection, there's off the top of my head at least 10 people that I would love to have that watch, so that I cannot be as worried about them. So it's definitely something positive that Apple is doing.
Yeah, and I think you can actually set it up to where it will alert you or another family member if something happens,
Yeah, and I've always been worried about heart safety and health and all that stuff, because my grandfather lost it.
Not the way you eat, though.
Yeah, we can tell from your life.
I eat a lot healthier than my family members do, believe it or not.
You do?
Wow. That's terrifying.
My dad's been obese most of my life. My grandfather lost a fight with heart disease. My great uncle did. Lots of family members have. So, just check out that link I linked and, learn about it. If you see symptoms, signs, and even in other people, help them out.
Yeah, that's a good link. Thanks for sharing it. And interesting to note here, like, just simple things like know your blood type. Like, this page has a lot of good info. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Let's see. What are we going to go to next here? Because all the topics are out of order from the topics that are actually on the overlays there.
It's fine.
Deal with it. But my blood type is in line with Apple's keynote. I'm A+.
Well, I'm O+. I'm O positive. So, hey.
I wrote it on my phone. I forget.
Yeah, I'm very positive too.
Well, being in the Army for 20 years, you have it on your dog tag that says it right there. So, you know
Well, that's
what's
another
up.
thing.
I'm a blood donation
To
guy.
tie back
but-
into Greg's topic real quick. I forgot the name of it because I set it up once and I forgot about it. But that medical ID card you can get to on your phone when you click
Yeah,
the button.
he already has
Set
that.
that up because if you ever pass out somewhere or you get hit by a bus or whatever, people can grab your phone and either they steal it or they check the medical ID.
Yeah.
50-50 chance.
50-50. You know, might as well set it up.
And
Exactly.
I have to tell you guys, I got my Apple Watch maybe, I think it was last summer, and it bugs the crap out of you to get up and move and exercise and stuff. And if you
Yeah,
don't do it, it
no-
makes you feel bad.
I ignore it. I
don't.
I never
I got a
complete my
wife for that.
circles.
I don't need a watch.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly has made me more active. I don't think it's done me too much good, but it's a nice thing to be like, oh, okay, I got up a little bit today. Or, hey, I didn't stand for 4 hours. That's probably not good,
Yeah, I never complete that exercise circle. I complete the other two circles a lot, but the
I'm
exercise
actually
one,
pretty good with it. I could max out my circles at least 2-3 days a week, depending.
that's 30 minutes of exercise. I don't.
Yeah,
like
but I
doing
walk
that
around
daily.
during lunch and stuff.
I'm going to say I'm on my feet 8 to 10 hours a day, so I think I got that covered. I'm still a fat guy though.
You'd be surprised though. It does pretty well.
Yeah. All right, I guess we had a Discord question here, Jay.
Yes, we did.
I'll let you go ahead and handle that one. Upgrading a 2006 1,1
Question
Mac.
from the Discord name was Rith the One. I forgot the real name associated with that. So if you're in the chat, make thyself known. But, he says, I'm planning to upgrade a 2006 1,1 Mac Pro. Do you have any advice? He made a typo at first. He said 2009. So I was like, yeah, I got some advice. And then it was like, oh, no, 2006. And I'm like, okay, I got nothing. But maybe these guys do.
Probably.
Well, first of all, RAM.
Yeah, right.
Lots of it.
It was Tim Bates.
Lots of RAM. I tell you what, I got 20 gigs of RAM. I'm using mine right now. I use it every day. I actually replaced an 8-core AMD PC with the damn thing. Lots of RAM. I mean, it maxes at 32 officially. I think Greg said 64 is possible, but not recommended. But that, I tell you, between the 20 gigs of RAM and the 240 gig SSD I installed in this thing, I'm running El Capitan, and I'm telling you what, this machine does absolutely everything I've thrown at it, including Final Cut Pro. Final Cut Pro, what, 10.3J? I think it runs.
Yes.
And it runs it very well. It's slow to render, of course, but I mean, that's the kind of crap I do and then go to bed. You know?
It's like the first year and a half or two of my channel being back up, I rendered on my 2006 all the time. So. But
yeah, GPU. Yeah, I mean, I've got
GPU, definitely GPU.
I've only got, I think, a 1 gig in this one.
And speaking of GPUs, if you go watch Jay's newest video, he did a Pixelus mod minus the blood.
But
I'd flip you off right now, but where I'm at.
that's not
I mean,
for a one.
minus the blood, minus the hacking.
I guess Greg missed the little thing in there in the middle of it. At, what is it, 22 minutes?
No, I didn't miss it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And just on the Mac Pro thing, if anybody wants to hate on one, I use
think we're
3
losing
of them on a
Mike.
daily basis. So
Yeah, we're losing you a little bit.
There you go. You're back.
There you go.
Like
I
I'm
use
saying,
the
anybody wants to
3,1.
hate on the 1,1 Mac Pro, I use 3 of them on a daily basis. I have 1 here at my house. I have 2 at work. I use 1 as a server. And I'll tell you what, they're great machines.
Yes, they are.
So, but I'll tell you what, I can notice I can notice a huge difference in speed between my one I use at work that has a spinner hard drive to this one here that has an SSD. I'm telling you, it's like night and day.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to link the first season of the Mac Pro series. It basically mostly covers 1,1, 2,1s. It can help out basically anyone.
Oh
There
yeah,
you go.
big time. Because most of the information I got from Greg anyway.
Yeah. So let's see.
Yeah, and when it comes to pixelless mods, people say don't do it on anything older than a 4.1. I don't know why they say that. Maybe it's PCI speed related, but it is possible.
Could it be the power supply?
No.
The power supply is it's the same size as all the rest of them. It's
Yep.
around 1,000
I think it's more that it's on a 1 and a 2.1. I think it's less than necessary because I don't think the machines can actually take advantage of a lot of the advanced features that those kind of cards are going to give you.
What may I ask a silly question? What's a Pixela mod, or what are you guys saying?
What?
It's a power supply mod to the video card instead of you coming off of the board.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually it's a 6-pin versus 8-pin connector.
Yeah, the board's got two.
The mini connector.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So basically, you're tapping into the power supply and getting power straight off the power supply
instead of from the board. Okay.
Yes.
You'll get experience
because a card like this,
when you pick up your Mac Pro.
Yeah.
A card like this
just
will
like the
work.
PC, my rails come directly from the power supply.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not on the Mac Pro because it had to be pretty. So they put the ports on the board which cannot handle the power draw of an 8-pin card or a dual 8-pin card.
Yep. Oh, it's fine for what I need.
It will
but that's just
the
me.
draw of a single 8-pin card with an adapter. But
yes, 6-pin to 6-pin, or excuse me, 6-pin plus 6-pin to 8-pin.
Yeah.
So I'll just put some batteries in it. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Tim, I hope that answers your question a little. We can keep going on that on Discord if you have any more questions.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Happy to.
Next topic. Let's browse. What is the best web browser for each Mac OS?
Chrome.
I'll start out myself. I like Firefox. However, I do use Safari actually a lot for everything because it's so integrated into the system and does so much stuff that even Firefox sometimes I just have a hard time using it.
Yeah,
Chrome is the
you
worst.
try installing an ad blocker on Safari these days. Good luck.
That's the problem. Yeah, but Chrome is probably, my opinion, the worst to put on a Mac.
Yeah, I'm not very Chrome. Unfortunately, I'm not very thrilled with it. I use it more for compatibility than anything between home and work. But yeah, it's not that great on any. It used to be great, but it isn't anymore. Safari's not bad. I use Firefox on everything else.
Yeah, I would say for every operating system, if there is an available Firefox version, that's what I use. PowerPC, you're talking 10.4 Fox, macOS 9, Classilla. That's it. It's never Safari.
You guys are missing the best one. Yeah, but the absolute best is Netscape 3.0 Gold Edition. I mean, come on.
God.
You got to have your integrated web page compositor and your newsreader. I mean,
but that's Classilla.
So
now, when I'm on OS 9, I actually like to use Internet Explorer. I think it works pretty good with.
Blasphemy!
No, I actually agree with you because it is very quick.
It was actually a good browser.
Yeah.
In 1997, 98.
Yeah, the OS 10 versions weren't as good, but the OS 9 versions, they really flew. They were pretty quick.
Yeah, they were actually pretty decent.
Can someone explain to me, because I hear this stuff a lot, New Moon, Arctic Fox, what is all that stuff? I have no idea.
Well, Arctic Fox, I actually have used Arctic Fox, so I can... Or not Arctic Fox, but Water Fox. I think it's a variant.
Greg is trying to say something.
Okay. He is? I don't even see him. Go ahead, Greg.
What do you mean you can't see me?
I see him.
You're an exclamation point.
There you are.
Hey, now we see you.
What we're trying to get at is what is the best browser for each Mac OS. Okay.
For each.
That's why I covered macOS 9, PowerPC OS 10, and forward.
All right. Well, System 5.0. Let's see.
Well, for anything that can't use modern browsers, as far as OS 10, would be 10.4 Fox. Is probably your best bet.
Well, I have a whole list.
If you're running OS 7.6 or 8, I would recommend Netscape 2. If you're running OS 8.5, 8.6, or 9. I was just Internet Explorer 4.
4.5.
Oh yeah, 4.5. You're right. I forgot that was the last version.
For OS 9?
Yeah.
Yes.
What about 5.1? I thought that was OS 9 still.
Well, that's 9, not 8.6.
Yeah.
But it,
So,
but
Yeah, it may
modern,
work on both. I'm just thinking about what was pre-installed.
modern browsers, okay? For
oh, now you want modern browsers?
that's what we're talking about.
The best modern
No,
browser.
it says for every OS. So I'm giving you
About this.
my suggestions for things from 7.6 and up.
Okay,
If you're
but
trying to browse on anything less than 7.6, you're absolutely flipping insane.
I agree with Mike.
But yeah. But anyway, for 8.6 through 9.22 plus all the OS 10s up to Panther and including Panther, you use Classilla. For OS 10, you have to use the classic environment. For 10.4 and 10.5 on PowerPC, you would have to use 10.4 Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Leopard, on the other hand, can also use WebKit, which actually recently got updated again. It's based
Oh,
off
cool.
of Safari. But if you're not running a PowerPC on Leopard, there was a custom build called 10.5 Fox, which is based off of 10.4 Fox for Intel, which hasn't been updated in like 2 years, but that's, I think, the most recent. And then for Snow Leopard, you could use Arctic Fox, which is based off of, I think, New Moon 27, so that's Firefox 27. But it's got all the updated features from, I think, like Firefox 60, all the security updates and all that stuff, but it's in a 27 shell. And it works on the modern web nearly flawlessly. And then Noah, no, not Noah, Ethan, aka Parrot Geek, has developed a new build of Firefox, I think 65, which will work in 10.7, 10.8, I think 10.9. It should work in anything, really. But it's based off of 65. It's got all the updates. It's called, what is it, Firefox for Legacy or something like that. Mm-hmm. That would be the most recent for those. So that covers all of them.
Yeah, I used to stick to the Firefox ESR releases, but they don't support the old stuff anymore.
Right.
Now, see, with modern stuff, I have Opera for my downloads, and for very few random sites, I use Chrome for certain. Believe it or not, I use that for YouTube and certain other video sites. It actually does better than Safari because Safari's gotten to where it doesn't really want to stream media very well anymore. And then I also use Firefox primarily for browsing, and Safari usually comes in second anymore on browsing. It used to be my primary browser.
Yeah.
For me,
we really should compile a list of all this stuff. For this
that'd be cool.
We should.
Thank you for volunteering, Greg.
Thank you
for volunteering to write it up this time.
Yeah, I at work, I use Chrome, but I've noticed a weird issue where all of a sudden your mouse or your keyboard just stop responding. So, that was weird. So I switched to Firefox.
You know what it is? That's Google sitting there stealing all your data.
No, there's some weird
keylogger.
There's some weird glitch with like something or other. I went down a rabbit hole figuring
It's not a glitch, it's a feature.
And I just ended up switching browsers. At home, I usually use Chrome, but I'm on like El Capitan or High Sierra, so I'm not using Safari because I don't have the latest. And that's really it. Like Mike was saying, for the old Mac stuff, I usually switch between Internet Explorer 2.0 or Netscape 3. The reason is I usually turn everything off, and all I'm doing is clicking on download links on my own website. So I don't need anything too fancy there. Just to load an HTML page and be a glorified FTP client.
Another one for Power Max, later Power Max G4s and G5. I was using one window browser on my iMac
Oh,
for a while. It's very it's fast. Which is nice. It's very stripped down, but it'll access a lot of websites that take forever to load on 10.4 fonts. But of course, you won't get all the fancy stuff,
Now, when I run Boot Camp on my Mac, yeah, I run Firefox because I cannot stand the Edge browser. It sucks.
Well, if you're running Windows 10, you suck anyway.
Yeah. Well, I have to when I do iRacing. I have no choice but to do that. Rocky has no choice sometimes for some of the stuff he does, and I'm willing to bet you Greg also has to run it sometimes. So
I will run Windows 7 until hell freezes over.
But
the
Edge
stop in January of 2020.
who needs updates?
Yeah,
I still use Windows XP at work. I don't want to hear it.
The running joke about Windows Edge is that it's used only to download Firefox or Chrome.
Just like IE was.
That's its main purpose in life, is to download another browser.
Pretty much.
All right, guys. We're going to move on to our next topic here.
Before you do, my kid is sick. My wife is taking care of him. So when I go on pause and mute, I'm just taking care of something my wife needs for the kid.
No, not a problem.
No worries.
One of the things I'm trying to go through, it's kind of hard to follow our notes here.
You already messed it up. So
no, well, it doesn't match. Because right now I'm looking at topic 8.
I have you on video admitting that you went out of order.
No, because it's out of order on here. Anyways, the next topic we're going to talk about is, should apples grow on orange trees? Support for products and services on non-Apple OSs.
No.
Boy, that was quick.
No.
Why?
Because.
Okay, that sounds like a parent excuse for a kid.
Ask your mother.
I was just reading the chat as I said that. Because if you want Mac OS, you buy a Mac. If you want Windows, you buy a PC. If you want an Android phone, you buy an Android phone, not an iPhone. Just stick to what, No, just no.
So you're saying I shouldn't be able to run Windows on my Mac?
No.
No, I think we're talking about like Apple supporting their software and hardware on other OSs.
Well, they actually do.
Back when I was still drinking the Kool-Aid, I was pissed that Windows got a version of iTunes. Like, why are you taking away from my specialness by giving those people a version of iTunes?
They wanted to sell more songs.
This is the reason why, Jay. The same reason we talked about earlier. More money.
Now I'm off the Kool-Aid, so I get it. But back then I didn't.
That's the biggest reason why. I mean, Windows 10, I have iCloud support now on there. I could do pretty much everything I do on my Mac on Windows 10, except I can't run Mac OS stuff that I like to run. So,
Yeah, you can't do messages or FaceTime.
Exactly.
Yeah, my legitimate concern is that Apple is already so bad at quality control. They're obviously spread too thin, if that's possible for a multi-billion-dollar company.
They just spread themselves thinner.
They're going to start taking on Roku and whatever else is out there. That's just going to take away from my experience for my products and services. That's the way I see it.
I think they may like the whole Roku thing with the AirPlay stuff. I think that's just a hint of, if they find that these services are popular enough, they're open to making some of them available on other devices. I've been hearing rumors of iTunes Music for Android phone for years now, but I think if the money's there, they may consider it. But like you said, it's a brand thing, so they don't want to come off as cheap as being available everywhere. They want their exclusivity type thing.
Yeah, when they said in the keynote that the Apple TV Plus or whatever it was going to be available on smart TVs, I was like, what? Why aren't you forcing people to buy an Apple TV? That's your thing.
I'm happy about that. I have a 4K TV. I don't want to buy a new Apple TV. But mine's probably too old for any of their updates, so I don't care.
But is that showing that their Apple TV is not selling as well as they had hoped?
I actually agree.
Probably,
I think-
you're right.
I think what they're finding is people getting these smart TVs says, well, mine does enough. I don't want to pay $150 for a box.
Yeah.
That's what most people are likely thinking. I know a few people who have TVs, they mount it on the wall. They don't want anything except one wire coming down for power and one wire coming down for their cable box.
Hell, some people don't even want that. They want the wires to be right behind
Exactly.
the TV.
Yeah. So the more you integrate it into it, and let's face it, all these TVs have pretty fast processors in them unless they're the budget models. So anything could really handle downstream of high def stuff and maybe
actually,
even 4K.
Take this for example. My TV I got downstairs in my living room has Roku built into it. Okay, so I could watch Roku. It has Netflix built in. It has a couple other streaming services already built into the TV.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I still have an Apple TV hooked up to it because
Yeah,
To be honest, I was shocked when I was watching that keynote, and I heard the words smart TV, because honestly I thought that people no longer bought smart TVs because they have been a security.
try
Nightmare
buying a
since
TV
day
that's not
one.
a smart TV.
Yeah.
Try buying a
I
television
haven't-
that's not a smart TV.
I did.
I have an intellectually stunted television.
you're not going to use the R word then.
Non-smart TVs are perfect for me because I use Roku devices because they're the most rounded thing you can buy for the price and for what you. I mean, I had a second gen Apple TV and I hated it. Or was it a third gen? I think it was a third gen Apple TV, and I couldn't even get Amazon on for crying out loud. I was
Yeah.
so ticked because I paid all that money for an Apple TV because I like Apple devices, and that was a joke. So I ended up going back to Roku's anyway.
Well,
So-
the fourth gen actually solved all that because you can actually
The third
download
gen even
apps.
has the Amazon one. I was surprised to learn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Now, see,
Yeah,
I don't even see the
well back.
point in having an Apple TV or any of those devices because I found the joy in you can get a Chromecast, plug it into your TV, and you can AirPlay from your phone.
Yeah, but you're all about the Google. You're a
you're a
slave,
Googleite.
man.
Hey, I
think-
got the Chromecast for free with something else, and I just gave it a kicks and
But
give
I
a
can-
shot.
But I can AirPlay from my iPhone to my Roku devices.
See,
too.
exactly, you can do the same thing.
So I
So
think
what's the point of having a freaking one of those Apple TVs?
if you're
Can you do iTunes?
Yes.
That's the one thing I can't do. I can't link to my iTunes library, which is slightly annoying because I do have a lot of movies and stuff that I've collected on iTunes from over the years. But that's the only downside I have to not having an Apple TV.
No, man, you give me a Chromecast for free, I will make a YouTube video where I burn it to the ground because I hate it. I'm probably gonna get a whole bunch of flack from environmental
So-
stuff.
so-
I've used Apple TVs since the very first second generation came out. I bought it like the day it came out, and I even have a first generation. I have every single Apple.
Oh, the
TV
hot plate.
model. Yeah, the hot plate. I custom modded it so it didn't get as hot. It's pretty neat, but the hard drive still died in it. Sadly.
Wait, you modded your Apple TV, but you let your time capsule fry?
Eh,
I know what you want to do, but you can't do it.
yeah.
We'll be
Anyway,
back after these technical difficulties.
I have
Oh, God.
I have a 4K Samsung Smart TV. It's got all that crap on it, but even though the apps are okay on it, it's a pain to navigate all that stuff on it, and the apps aren't as advanced as the Apple TV apps.
Yeah, they're slow and
Yeah, the Apple TV is a lot quicker. You can control it with any device in your house that has the Apple TV remote on it.
How old is your Samsung then? Because ours isn't slow.
It's 2015 model, I think. It's still getting
okay.
regular updates. It's just it takes forever for apps to even load on it.
My TV is super fast. It doesn't have apps, just an on-off button.
Yeah,
a button.
fine.
That's the drawback of my TV being a smart TV or whatever they call it, because when you turn it on, it has to boot up. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh.
What?
So-
ours
yeah.
doesn't even take that long.
So I have a Sony 4K TV I got in November during the Black Friday sales, and it's running Android, unfortunately. But
Oh.
after months of doing research, this was the model I wanted for picture quality. So it's a Sony, and the picture quality is pretty good. I came from a Plasma. Now the Plasma has nice inky dark blacks, and this one doesn't hold a candle to it, but it does a good job. Does all right.
Yep.
The stupid thing about this is if I press the menu button on the TV, I can't get to settings. I have to use the stupid Google Assistant and say, go to settings. And 1 out of 10 times, it may read me correctly and go to the darn settings menu. The other problem is the inputs. If I press the input button, you could label the inputs, put some text in there. There's a character limit of like 6. Like, are we back in like 1998? Like, it's these little corners that are cut that makes me, like Apple devices. So I do have an Apple TV. I have a 4K Blu-ray player. I use the Apple TV most of all. The apps on the TV and the 4K player are okay, but they're not as robust and as quick as the Apple devices because they're probably just, one size fits all Android or whatever is running on those devices. Whereas the Apple one, I'll give it that they, run pretty well because it's designed for that one platform. But I mean, if
It's
I
like
could
buying a security camera, they all run the same.
yeah,
firmware and software.
if I could just download an app to my TV instead of buying a 4K Apple TV because I own an older one, hey, that's cool for me. But I don't know if they're going to do that.
Now, see, I have to say, Samsung gives Apple a run for their money in that market, just like they do in the phone market, because Samsung doesn't use your standardized Android or OS software. They do refine it. They do clean it up in a lot of respects, depending on the phone. And the same thing, like, even though, Greg has issues with his, Samsung, ours, on the other hand, it boots up. It's on. I turn it on.
Oh, it boots up
and
quick.
it comes right up, and the apps
It's
go
the
right
loading
in.
and stuff that's...
Oh, see, there's no loading on ours. And when I turn on a device, it'll immediately switch to it, and it can talk to it and knows what it is. I don't have to label the ports. I mean, it's super awesome.
The thing I hate about my TV is when I first turn it on, I actually have to push a button to select the input device. It's like cable box or whatever. So not only do I have to turn it off, once it boots up, then I have to push, okay, I want this input. Go to the last input I used on it. That's what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
I don't even use my TV remote. I turn on the Apple TV with the Apple TV remote. Yep. The TV sees the input signal, starts up, and selects the channel where the signal is coming in from. I'm up and running before my butt hits the couch.
That's
my
exactly
Sony
what our
Trinitron
Samsung
did that
does.
in 1997.
Yep. Let's see.
That horse is dead. It's way dead now.
Yeah, so,
I think we are dead here.
Dead, Jim.
yeah.
So, let's,
it's so far into the ground we can't even see it.
Let's go ahead and move on to our next topic here. Happy birthday, APFS. How do we like it 1 year later?
Haven't used it.
To be honest with you, I can't tell the difference between it and HPFS. So it's like, the problem is when you format something into it, trying to unformat it is a pain in the butt.
Apple provided a very good way of testing it.
With a video on HPFS. Very interesting, kind of boring. Really boring.
Who did it?
Came from the computer player.
Oh.
But it's very detailed.
It's informative.
It's informative. Boring, but informative. And there is a lot of things about APFS that really does make it very good. Our system, it's very really, it is a lot more advanced than HFS Plus. HFS Plus has been around since
We got music playing in the background, guys. We do? Rock and roll. Unmute the YouTube to find out.
I knew exactly what it was. Rocky.
You started playing my video?
No, because I put it in there, but I didn't start playing. But apparently it likes to start playing.
Greg was so rocking out there. He got the music just punched.
No, I don't hear it.
Okay, so where did we end up leaving off after over the rock?
Start over.
Wow, my FaceTime is messing up.
Sorry, no.
So you were saying it was a good Apple final APFS video that can.
Yeah. With the HFS Plus has been on since 1998, and it's really getting dated. It's not going to last for that, I think it's like 10, 20 years, something like that, as the way that maintains files and stuff. APFS is actually pretty good. It is a bit of a pain to set up. Of course, the Macs that don't officially boot from it, that can be a headache too. But I actually think it's a good file system. Everyone should probably do it.
They'll be back here shortly. His phone and Apple gave him the middle finger. So.
Yeah, I'm still holding on that.
It's still going? It should be. I turned it off. All right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's still going.
All right, you know what? I'm going to take that out of the... You're not getting your...
That's Jay's
Congratulations, no point on
doesn't have the in there.
I don't know why
it's still going.
No, I just got that. So it's going to take a few seconds for it to get. I was trying to get yours set up for your thing later, but...
Yeah, it's gone now. Still gone.
Try it now.
This day will be long remembered.
We just wanted a death metal segment. That's what we really wanted.
We're working on it, guys.
Technical difficulties. What are we looking at here? Big red box. Oh, that was...
I hope YouTube doesn't monetize this.
It's off now.
Well,
hey, Greg, can we just throw up a blue screen of death and go home for the night?
I have a bomb.
All right, guys. Too. So APFS, good, bad, ugly, what?
Okay. Do I have to repeat myself all over again?
No,
I can't say I don't use it, so I can't give an opinion.
Yeah, same here.
I'm still using HPFS, so.
HFS.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Right. Are we still on APFS?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. My 2 cents. It's great.
I agree.
And Apple gave us a really good way to test it by providing us with Mojave that crashes more often than not.
Yeah.
And when it does crash, and you're in the middle of editing a document or whatever you do, even a Final Cut Pro project, when the OS goes down, you restart, it didn't skip a beat. Like the logging and how it keeps track of everything.
So it's even better than the journaling?
Working. Well, the journaling, they up the time and how often the journal is updated in APFS. And that makes a huge difference.
Too bad my system can't support it.
In High Sierra, it was a mess. I stayed far away from it. In Mojave, even though Mojave kind of sucks, APFS is pretty good.
Yeah, the same reason I stayed away from HFS Plus in 8.1.
Yeah, we had a lot of problems with that back in the day.
Always skip the first.
But by the time 8.6 came out, though, or was it 8.5? No, I think it was 8.6. I think by the time 8.6 came out, it turned out to be pretty decent.
Yeah,
they finally got a lot of the bugs worked at.
Is Rocky still here, by the way?
Yeah, Rocky's still here. I think.
Oh, there you
are. I'm still here. I'm getting ready. I'm going to go get my daughter, so I didn't want to show everybody like all my house and everything.
It's all dirty and everything.
What's going on with FaceTime? It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, FaceTime is...
I'm probably going to drop off.
We might lose it here soon, so let's try to get through the rest of our topics.
Yeah, I had to get back on Wi-Fi because on... we just lost Rocky?
Yeah, I think we just lost Greg.
On LTE, I got no FaceTime.
So APFS is better than FaceTime. Case closed.
Yes, right now it is.
I just got thrown out of it.
All right, guys. Next topic. Pippin game console turns 23. I've never seen one, never touched one, so I'm gonna
Same.
hands off.
I wish
I don't think
I
any
had
of
one.
us
I've
have.
about it, but I've never seen one, and
So-
I've never touched
so-
one either.
Essentially, back in the day, everyone was crazy about CD-ROMs and their potential. So back when all these video game companies were scrambling to do something hot and new with the CD, we got stuff like the Sega CD, and then we got like the 3DO and the CDI, and they never really met the mark anywhere. So Apple partnered with Bandai to supply some of the multimedia-based software, and they tried to basically make a video game console. And the reason you don't hear about it is because it didn't really go anywhere. But what was interesting about the device is it ran the Mac OS. It ran System 7.5 and had a 603 processor, but I think it was only like a 66 megahertz, but it was a PowerPC. You had a 14K modem in there, a 4X CD-ROM drive, and you had video outputs right on it. And the thing looks pretty ahead of its time. I mean, honestly, if you look on the Wikipedia page, which I'll paste into the chat now, if you look at that image and you look at the white console there, that kind of looks like, an Xbox One or something. Yeah, it has buttons on it that the new consoles wouldn't have, and the controller looks like a funky boomerang. But I think it's pretty neat. They go for quite a bit because only, I think, under 100,000 were made and only like 40,000 were sold or something
I
like
thought
that.
it was like 25,000.
Yeah, I'm reading off the wiki, so who knows how accurate it is. But
I have no clue. It might be under 40,000.
yeah, it says reportedly sold only 42,000 systems before discontinuing the line.
I
So
believe that.
there was, a handful of titles out there. At least, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you have like maybe 20 games for it. A lot of them were ports from other systems, and looks like most of them just came out in North America. And that was basically it. No
Thing
releases
is,
in Europe or
it's not
Japan.
pointless to buy a Pippin because
Yeah,
their games could run on a Mac.
exactly. Yeah, so from what I understand, there was compatibility with the Mac and the software that was for the Pippin, and the controllers were, ADB, and there
Yeah.
was like weird functionality with like a floppy disk drive, and I mean, it was really ahead of its time, and it's really cool. I wish that it was a little more successful, so we could have seen some neat things out of it.
Didn't
But
they have I think it was the first console to have a built-in web browser, wasn't it?
yeah, I think that or the modem or something like that. It was like it did a lot of firsts. I mean, this
But
thing.
then again, it was just a Mac with a
Exactly. It was a pared down PowerPC Mac that was trying to be a game system, and who knows why they thought that was a good idea. And at $600,
Well, wasn't like the Nintendo 64 was a Power PC?
well, they were IBM
Yeah, but that was
based.
much
It
later.
was RISC-based.
Yeah, so the GameCube was IBM Broadway or maybe that's the Radeon card or whatever it was. But yeah, those were
Yeah.
similar PowerPC systems. And the PS3 is a PowerPC
The
system as
GameCube
well.
was actually a G3.
So is the Xbox.
Yeah, so is the Xbox. Yeah, so I mean, I think this just was an interesting thing that sort of came and went. It was only really from '96 to '97, and
It was one of Apple's flops too.
well, see, the
There
thing
was
is,
a lot
Apple,
of companies that flopped like that, though, in that era.
Yeah, but see, the
not many people
developer.
realized it was an Apple product.
Yeah, because it really wasn't. I mean, Apple developed it, and it was designed by them. But Bandai was the company that actually, manufactured it, and they put their branding on it.
So let me guess. This was before between the Steve Jobs times, right?
Yeah, 96, 97. So he didn't come back yet.
So basically, this was not one of his ideas.
Jobs came back probably 97, I forget.
Yeah,
He-
97.
Came back
Late
just in time to
97.
axe it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was
I mean,
all
this-
axed by then anyway.
yeah, it's not like it was selling good and they killed it or anything, know. But I just thought it was an interesting concept because you see a lot of things today with, smart TVs or people having, a multimedia PC hooked up to their TV. And this kind of tried to do some of that. So Yeah, nobody really knows a lot about it because it was
The
such a
first
flop.
Apple TV.
Yeah, something like that. So I don't know. I just thought it was fun to bring it up, and it had a birthday, so why not? So.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to move on to our next topic here. News and rumors plus. Okay, we'll put that in there too. And if you can read this, then you could tell Jay probably did it with one of the new Apple MacBook Pros with the failing keyboard. There's a link I'm putting in there right now where you could go and read the article on it. They're actually having problems with the second or whatever the third generation, I think they're second generation keyboards. People are still having the same issues with them. I actually have a 2017 MacBook Pro and with the first generation keyboard, and I have not had a problem with it yet.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Yet.
You've invested heavily in canned air.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, there are thousands of videos, it seems, on YouTube of people complaining about the butterfly keyboard.
Yeah. I don't like it because of the key travel. The key travel sucks. I wish they would have went to something a little bit more travel because it doesn't feel like you're actually hitting any keys. It feels like it's you're hitting a table. You know, that's pretty much.
Yeah. It's lame.
They want you to use a touch screen.
Ugh.
I don't want to do that. I touch type. I don't look at the keyboard when I'm typing. So
The next
touch
thing
type.
that the MacBook Pro is going to have is going to be a touch screen, so it can be like an iPad.
It's going to be
that.
It's going to be two
Probably.
screens.
Yeah,
when Apple released their fix for the butterfly keyboard, everybody knew it wasn't going to last. Hell, iFixit did a test on it within 2 days of it coming out, and they showed that dust accumulates under that membrane just as bad as any other keyboard. And now Apple says, a few people, not a lot, but a few,
They're just saving face.
which means a few 100,000,
exactly.
are complaining about keyboard issues. And even though we currently have a repair program for the old keyboards, we're not including the latest one that we just admitted is still faulty.
Because it's perfect.
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah.
And it's just a few people.
It's Tim Cook's Apple.
So, there's going to be a repair program for this down the line, or they're going to extend the one they already have, but you're going to have to fight for it. People are going to have to complain and complain and complain.
I think they just need to get rid of this butterfly keyboard completely and go with something different.
Go back
not
to the
in-
chiclet
the
keys.
old one.
Vision.
Just go back to the scissors keyboard. There was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Chiclets.
It was just too thick. That's the problem. They're in this thin
Well,
mindset.
I'm okay with
everything
that.
has to be. I am too. Trust me.
There's a reason. There's only so much crap you can shave off of certain things in this world. Keyboard just happens to be one of them.
Yeah.
You got to have something
This-
there, otherwise
this-
you're typing on a touchscreen.
This 2015 MacBook is so thin that if I grip the side of the keyboard too hard when I'm traveling with it, I'll hear the fan start to hit in the metal inside because the metal's bending and touching the fan where it shouldn't.
I thought you were going to say you were going to bend it.
Well, that maybe too.
Yeah,
Well, you should see my 2017 MacBook Pro. I mean, it's thin. I mean, that thing is super thin. But it's still not thin enough where they couldn't have put an HDMI port or regular USB, A port on it.
They want you to buy dongles.
Well, you know what? If they wanted to give it more room, considering how ultra tiny the actual motherboard is, put that underneath the trackpad, shove a thin, large battery underneath the keyboard, and you've got plenty of room for the chiclet keys. Even on those small little...
I just pulled up
rinky-dink.
a 12-inch MacBook. Is it a MacBook? Yeah, 12-inch MacBook, just to remind myself on how much I hate this keyboard. And I forgot how loud it was.
Mm-hmm.
For a key that doesn't travel, this thing is twice as loud as my old MacBook Pro.
Because there's more surface area to slap against the back of the keyboard.
It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, we like slipping.
That's because you have to press on it harder and it makes a bigger sound. Because, yes, I find myself hitting the keys a little bit harder because I don't feel like I'm hitting them because they're not moving.
Just give me an Apple extended keyboard and call it a day.
Yeah.
I'm good
There
with
you
that
go.
myself.
But, they're not going to do away with this butterfly mechanism keyboard because
They
that
won't
was
admit.
admitting that they were wrong. And they already have so much invested in this.
Well, one day they might
R&D
develop a
and-
fix for it in like 5 or 10 more revisions.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? They had a fix for it a long time ago. If you think back to the early days of keyboards and you had those membrane keyboards, which were literally, they were just, you were touching the membrane. They had those rubbery keys to them. That's
Yeah.
basically what they're going to have to go to if they want to get this small.
Yeah.
Or
And
they're
it
going
might
to have
even
to
make it
incorporate the
liquid-proof.
old... well, no, remember the old, the other thing I'm thinking of is the keyboards that had those mechanical sounding clickers in them. I can't remember what they call those.
Yeah, the
those little
Alps
metal
ones.
domes. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, they could go to that and just, you know, then you can make the keys thinner. And
But those tend to
You know.
break a lot more because the with the metal domes, they tend to wear out and then they get stuck and they
I'm thinking them
continuously-
be girl on the blind.
No,
Yeah,
no.
Guys again.
Yeah, we're
I
losing
think-
Rocky.
I think that, you know, they just need to be stopped
Sorry.
obsessing with the thinness and just fix the problem, admit they were wrong, and just
Yeah, but
go
the
from there.
vast majority of people, according to Apple, nobody can prove these numbers. The vast majority of people want thinner and lighter. I
Yeah.
haven't met
Oh.
a single person that actually wants that. for
Oh
the
wait,
trade-off it gets.
this laptop is 1 millimeter too thick. You know, I just can't buy it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Bye. No
Well,
thanks.
sorry,
well,
but
let's
if
think
you-
about this. The MacBook Air had full chiclet keyboard, and that thing was thinner than snot.
The only person that cares is Johnny Ives.
Well, yeah, but you
Yeah.
look at this iPhone here, how thin it is. Yet we still have a flipping camera bump, okay? I don't know if you can see
Yeah.
that, but
And
we
they're
still have a
not
camera
great.
bump. Why can't you make the phone that much thicker? Guess what? Then you have more battery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always hated the camera bump since
And
it
a
came
little
out.
off topic here, but why is the just a quick
You're
question?
not muted, Rocky. Just so you know.
Oh, you muted me?
No,
you're
you're
not.
not muted.
Just so you know.
Oh, sorry. Okay, thank you.
Why is the iSight or the FaceTime HD camera in even the latest Mac you buy still garbage compared to the phones?
That's why I'm using a separate camera here.
Why?
If you notice, I'm using the iPad camera versus, and you guys have always said it, the one in my 2017 iMac sucks compared to my iPad. And I'm using the front-facing camera, not the back
Yeah.
camera.
So why there's more space in the bezel of even an iMac up top there than an iPhone? So why not put in a better camera?
Yeah, I can see on the laptops the screens are very, very thin compared to the depth of the iPhone. But on
Or
an
you
iMac,
just put a bump on it, and then you
Well,
make a little indent in the top case, so when you close.
oh
the
yeah,
lid, it'll fit.
there are ways to do it. I'm just saying for the iMac, there's no excuse at all.
Right. So just
I
wanted
don't know.
to
I
throw
think
that
we
out
need to
there.
start looking at how thin is too thin.
I think they're
When it
way
comes
past
to a
that point.
laptop.
I think we got past that point 5 years ago.
when they
We
slimmed
definitely
down the
got
iMac,
that.
yeah, when they slimmed down the iMac and got rid of the optical drive, that
Yeah.
was the end of it. That they're crazy.
We
Yep.
definitely got past that point when the i9 MacBook Pro started overheating.
Yep. That was the tipping point right there, I think.
Yep.
Because basically they kept the same dimensions as the older MacBook Pro, and they tried to slap in an i9, which basically has more, puts more heat out with the same cooling, and it's not going to cool it.
I think it started long before that.
Oh,
When
I
the
did
first
too.
Retina came
Oh, I did
out,
too.
it was doomed.
Yeah.
It was doomed. Because if you really put the pressure on the Retina, anyone, the first generation or the current one, if you put a serious workload on it and use the Intel widget or gadget, you'll see it starts overheating and throttling.
Yep.
Yep.
It just reminds me of when Toshiba came out with their Pentium 4 laptops and the heatsink was sticking out the back.
I had one of those.
Me too. Fun
How
time.
sexy.
Yeah.
Cook an egg on the back.
All right, guys, we're going to move on to our next topic here. Mike's Mac Shack. So you're up next there, Mike.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to
Not
go.
too excited. Come on now.
I guess we're going to go from the thinnest or the thinnest laptop to the thickest laptop. Cute. So the fastest laptops that Apple ever made in the 68K line. The PowerBook 500 series. Somebody just dumped.
No, that's you're actually starting to sound
You're a
like a
robot
robot.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we lost Rutgate too.
We just
Yes, no, maybe.
Well, we can still
you're
hear
there.
you. Go
You're
on.
there. You're good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So the fact that the invention of the trackpad was not an Apple invention, by the way, but they usurped it for their PowerBook 500 series. So in a way, everybody kind of owes homage to this machine. But the very first use of the trackpad on a laptop was on the PowerBook 500s, the 520s, 520C, the 540, the 540C, and the 550, which if you ever see one of those, you need to look at it and admire it. It's a very pretty black laptop.
Is that an HDMI in the back? What is that?
Oh,
That's a SCSI port.
Okay.
Oh, no, the one that looks like an HDMI is actually the video port. It's
Yep.
an HD, it's an HD 15, HDI 15.
I think the one being pictured right now has a broken hinge.
Nope. That
Yes.
is a common feature. Mine has it
Yes.
too.
That is exactly a very common feature. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god!
Yep. You thought the quality was bad now.
Well,
You had
yeah, but
plastic
all the
back
plastics
then.
back then broke like crazy.
Yes, there's a cover that goes over the microphone down there, and I'd say 12 out of 10 laptops in this series are probably missing that piece of plastic.
I
What
have it.
about
It just won't go back on.
What about the
Yeah,
keyboard?
mine never did either.
The picture that is up right now kind of shows the keyboard bulging.
It's a little mushy. It doesn't really. It
Yeah.
doesn't bulge. It doesn't bulge. I'm looking
Well,
at mine
Jay,
right now.
up until the aluminum PowerBooks came out, there was no metal backplate on keyboards, so they'd get really mushy and start bending.
Oh, okay.
This has metal, but it's bendy metal.
Yeah,
Bendy metal.
I think that particular picture wasn't exactly the greatest example, but yeah, the keyboards
Oh,
were
there's
kind of
one.
the keyboards were kind of spongy and weird, but they were a very reliable keyboard, unlike today's. The Alps trackpad that they used, it didn't support anything like we have, like tap or anything like that, but it was the first trackpad used on a laptop. This was also the first PowerBook that Apple made that had stereo speakers in the lid. And they actually made 5 different models of this machine with various options. They made them in both black and white passive matrix LCD, black and white active matrix LCD, color passive and active matrix, and then the unicorn, the PowerBook 550, which is a Japanese only model, is the only laptop that they made with a full blown 68040 33 megahertz processor. It was an absolute screamer.
Now, I remember when I got mine off eBay years ago, there was a little red sticker on the left of the lid. Can you tell us what that was about?
PowerPC one?
Yep,
Yeah.
it was an upgrade sticker. Upgrade capable.
These, I'm getting to that. These were also the first PowerBooks that were, of course, PowerPC ready, because these came out at the same time as the PowerPC 601. So laptops always lag. At the time, I mean, laptops were usually, I'd say, a year and a half behind desktop technology, if not more, because of just general technology in 1993. You know, as you can see the comparison of the various models on the screen right now, and the uber rare cellular modem.
Oh, that's cool.
What's even rarer than that modem is a working PCI card cage, which you need to plug that modem into.
Yeah.
You know how many
That's
late
true.
nights on eBay I spent as a youth looking for that?
So, but these also had a modular bay on the left side, where as you can see in this picture, where the cellular modem's plugged in. That could be, which wasn't equipped at standard for the PCMCIA cards, but you could put a second battery in there.
In fact, I got the next picture up with the battery.
Yeah, theoretically, you could get almost 8 hours out of 2 batteries on one of these machines if you
Wow.
were frugal. So,
What do you mean frugal?
Spin down your hard disk, turn
yeah,
off the brightness
dim,
low, things like
dim the
that.
screen, throttle the processor. So the power management was actually quite good on these.
Using a RAM disk always helped you a lot.
Yes. So, but they came with 4 megs of RAM, usually 160 meg hard drive on some of the lower end models. You could get it configured however you wanted, and they were priced very reasonably at like $2,500 to $2,800 too, which at the time, I mean, was a reasonable price, especially for Mac. So,
So my
Steve,
question,
your question,
sorry, why is it called a Blackbird?
That's just the
because
code name for it.
that was the code name for it.
Ah,
It was named after the SR-71 Blackbird because it was at the time, it was the fastest laptop in existence.
gotcha.
Like when the G3 Kanga came out.
I mean, this thing, the 68 LCO40 blew away anything on the market at the time. And then if you threw the Power PC 601 in the mix, I mean, you might as well just tell everybody to go to hell.
Yeah,
I mean,
the back is very interesting of this, how it just slopes down. You know, this is the
yes,
rear of it. It's very strange.
it's actually a very well designed machine. It's very sleek looking.
Just except for the front piece that falls off.
Yeah. And I can tell you, the plastics are horrible on them. The hinges are broken on a lot of them. And it's a shame. They're actually very collectible today. A lot of people, I mean, just about anybody who collects Macs wants one. So it's like the PowerBook, the 68K PowerBook to get. And if you ever find a 550, oh my God, snap it up! I don't care how much the thing costs because they only made 10,000 of those things.
Now the
And they only sold
550
them in Japan.
is black, correct? It's not
Jet black.
So
Yep.
that shows the difference easy
Yep.
to see.
It's solid black. It's the same exact machine. It's just black, but it has a full 68040 processor in it, unlike the 520 and 540, which only had the LC variants. Yes, Oreo. I don't think anybody wants to see your butt.
Well, next time I'm in Japan, I'll take a look for one.
Yep.
So they're floating around. I mean, if you look for them, you can find them. But if you ever had the chance to buy one, I mean, you got to check them over. They're a lot of them are getting in pretty rough shape nowadays.
And
Unfortunately,
they require a unique power cord.
Brock was asking what was the price for this laptop.
They started at somewhere around 2,400. I'll hang on a second. I can look.
Ouch.
The
Didn't you say 25 to 2,800?
The 520 started at 2,270, all the way up to I don't have a price on the 550. All the way up to $4,800 on the 540C.
And this is what, 1994 money?
Yeah,
94. Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at that's what, about 15 grand in today's money.
Yeah, but these machines were not anything to laugh at. I mean,
it had Ethernet networking built in. You just need to bring your own dongle.
Yep. It's basically they were basically a Quadra in a laptop.
So what are we looking at prices today for a nice one?
For a really nice one, expect to pay upwards of $500.
That includes the back door that always falls off.
Yes.
Wow. And the front. And these hinges are terrible.
Well, I guess I'll never own one of those.
Yeah. But the problem is finding a good one is, I would say, almost impossible.
Yeah, because the rubber is deteriorating on them.
Yes.
You're not going to find a perfect one unless it was mint in box, even then.
I see them all the time on eBay for around $150, which is a reasonable price. The batteries are dead, but I mean the machines themselves still work. The machine in general holds up fine. They have a very, very nice screen. The screen, if I remember, I think is made by Sony. And they were actually a very good screen. The 540s actually had one of the clearest, crispest color screens of anything of the time. You know, the trackpads that are made by Alps, I mean, they're excellent quality. The keyboards are but they hold up. I mean, it's a laptop, and they all got abused really hard. You know, there were people I was using one of these in 2001 until it just finally kicked the bucket and said, "I'm just done."
Well, it had a good life.
Oh, it did. It had a rough life even before I had it. I mean, it had so much super glue holding it together, it wasn't even funny. And that was back then. So, but yeah, it was an excellent machine. If you find them, I mean, they're great to collect. They're very collectible nowadays, but don't expect to find them in good shape.
By the
And,
way,
Yeah.
what was the system they used in Independence Day?
That was this.
that
That's
They
was
what
had
I
one of
they
the,
had
Yep.
they had a modem on the back of it, but it's
Yeah.
funny because this one doesn't have it only has a floppy disk drive, not a CD-ROM even. So you had to have an external SCSI one.
Yeah, these actually were the last machines to not have a CD-ROM drive. The PowerBook 1400s that came after these with the Power PCs actually were the
Yeah.
first ones with the CD-ROM drives.
I think the ultra portable ones, like the 2400C, and some of those models still didn't, but they were a different class. They weren't like a
Yeah,
full desktop replacement.
they were considered sub notebooks at the time.
Yep.
They were like what we have now.
Yeah, like the MacBook Airs.
We got to move on a little bit here. We're going to move on to Rocky's Evil Mod Gaming. So I see Rocky is back, so we're going to go throw it to him. I did get your videos in here, so we can play them if you want.
Okay. Are you playing? Is Jay's video first?
I can play that one first if you want.
What do you think, Jay? You wanna? You want to put it up?
I'm down for a little shameless self promotion.
All right. Yeah.
So here we go. We'll play this first video here. This is something that we actually played last night, and Jay decided to shame us. So
Put together a montage.
Nobody invited me.
Yeah. So here it is. You can hear us talk in the
I didn't
background
think you
because I don't
guys
have this
invited
as a
me.
separate. Well, you were sleeping. You were in bed.
Yeah.
It's true, but still, you didn't
I was
invite
probably
me.
sleeping.
Yes,
too.
we did. We said get on the call. You never.
This
got on
was
the call.
quite
Doesn't
late.
mean-
Let's just say that. This was
Yeah, this is like 1-2 o'clock in the morning last night.
All right, guys. So here it goes. They can hear us in the background, so we'll just keep it down while the video's playing. How much more?
I'm on a video.
Okay, about 2 minutes.
Well, that was the word, Bob.
I can definitely hear that in the background.
There it goes. All right. So now
All
you
right.
can play the. Yeah.
So there we go. All right. So that was Jay shaming us last night,
Yeah.
where Rocky and I were actually trying to test our streaming capabilities of doing UT via Twitch, and Jay had to come in there and just kick our butts.
By the way, it wasn't a long video. You played it twice. But
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
You definitely played it twice.
All right. So now to go over the video or the game of tonight to announce it. It is Unreal Tournament produced by Epic Games. So circa the early 2000s era, came out during the PowerPC generation. You can go ahead and roll the other video, but no sound on it if you want to, Greg.
All right, hold on.
That one's just kind of a, just showing off the gameplay, which Jay did already quite well. So,
all right, there we go.
Yeah. Now down in the the description, we're going to have, we have a link to the PowerPC Gaming Lounge. So those that would like to join us, please, by all means, do. We do actually play. I'm going to see if I can copy this link here and put it in the chat so that's there ahead of time. So please feel free to join us in the PowerPC Gaming Lounge. Applications welcome. And we do play that. So
we'd definitely love to have you.
Yeah, we have fun, and you can actually come in with an Intel Mac as well.
Yeah, and Jay and I are both admins and maintain it there, and
just no PCs.
Yeah. And I vote this, and this is in honor of you, Jay. I give it a 5 out of 5 Apple puck mice.
Because Jay does play with a mouse, rather.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he does.
Last night I played with a Mighty Mouse, which is why I got shot a few times. But
that's the excuse.
Yeah, and now if you want, you can flip over to the last slide, which is the system requirements, which we have disproven.
Don't have that up here, so
okay,
no problem. Disproven, but I played it on my G3 Blue and White 400 G4.
Yep, and they say what was
great.
it?
I think they said some maps will play on an 867 G4. You know how I remember that? Because that was my power book.
Well, you were playing it on a G3 eMac last night.
G4,
G4. Okay.
Yeah,
it went pretty well.
Yeah, the thing is, the faster the processor, the more graphics card memory, the more system memory you have, the bigger maps you could load and this and that. Obviously, the big onslaught maps are going to take up a lot more of your system than just a deathmatch.
Well, let's put it this way. On my G5 with the 6800 graphics card, I could play everything maxed out and no stutter at all. I mean, it works perfect.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty beefy system.
Yeah.
That's like me playing on my iMac with my RX 650, or whatever, Radeon 650, whatever that came with. I mean, I can blow it up to this maximum resolution, whatever, and it's smooth as can be.
I was playing on the eMac 1 gigahertz model, 32 megabytes. I think it was an AGP ATI 7500 or mobility or whatever they had in there. 512 megs of RAM or a gig of RAM or whatever I had in the system. Everything was set to low, the lowest settings. All the features and the decals and the stickers and the fog was turned off. Resolution was 800 by 600. I was averaging around 25 to 35 frames per second.
That's not bad for one of those, though.
No, it's not bad. And then when things weren't, when there wasn't as much action, it did creep up to 60, 70, depending on what it felt like.
But GT set a benchmark last night, though. He played it in 5K without it blowing up.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
I was playing in 5K, and I had all the features turned up, pretty much.
But then again, James plays, I believe, on a Dual 500 G4, and he rocks it.
Well, to be honest with you, though, Rocky, I think it was only playing in 1920 by 1080 because I think that's the max it will go and upscale to a 5K.
Still good, though.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it holds up pretty well since being from 2004. And I think the sad part is the Unreal Tournament 3, which was a successor to that, kept being promised by Microsoft to come out on the Mac, and years went by and it never materialized, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yep. And
they were going to come out with a new one, and then they got too much money from Fortnite, and they said, nope, never mind. It's shit. So that's another sad thing. But 2004 is still a heck of a game.
Yeah, and we play every Sunday.
Try to.
In the PowerPC Gaming Lounge, so definitely come check that out.
Yeah, Jay has the server up at his house right there. It's probably sitting right behind him or whatnot.
Yep.
That's why he gets the best ping and the best headshots.
That's the reason why he gets that plus, because he has no lag. We have that lag.
We'll
Don't
play
lie,
on,
Jay.
we'll play on your server next week.
I'll host one. Let's get that X server of mine working.
And then Jay's going to be like, "No, I can't hit you."
We'll set up the EMAC as a server.
There you go. Oh, jeez.
I'll have to call the fire department.
I was going to say, you want that thing to catch fire?
I don't know. It might be able to handle it. Just a host.
Yeah, for 60 seconds.
No, as long as you run it dedicated, not a
Turn the
listen
screen
server,
off.
because that's how I fried my MDD. Remember?
Ouch.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Burned a hole through one of your chips or something.
Yep. It wasn't pretty.
Yep. All right. Next topic. We're got a couple more to go through before we call it a night. We're just about on time here.
Yeah, we'll go over
Steve's-
time because it's worth it. Plus,
Steve's Archive Adventures.
So, not really an archive thing, but it's loosely related, so that's why I kept the title. But, so last weekend was the Trenton Computer Festival, and that's a computer show and flea market type deal that's been going on in New Jersey since, oh boy, I had the article up here, since 1976. So it's been going on for 44 years. This was the 44th show. It is the longest running, oldest continually running personal computer show in the world. So it's really was like considered like the first major computer show, and they don't really have these things anymore, and it's quite obvious because you could do a lot of your shopping online and stuff. But they'll throw up some of the pictures here because
I don't have any pictures.
oh, well,
Come on, dude.
Oh,
Jay didn't. There's
it's
no
on-
pictures in this.
I'll
They're in
talk.
the
It's on
folder.
Wired. It's on the Wired thing.
It's not in the folder.
It's in the folder.
No, it's not.
I'll-
You want? I'll show it to you.
I'll buy
Don't make
time.
me shame you.
I'll buy time. So, I just want to say, for those of you who don't know what these things were, they were basically a meeting of people who had similar interest in computers. Back in '76 or so, these were still hobbyist machines. You know, this is, and just to clarify, Trenton, New Jersey, in the United States, not Trenton in our neighbors up north. I posted that on my social media, and people got very excited that there was a computer show going on in Trenton. The wrong Trenton, so sorry. But I've been going on and off for the past 15 years, and I've seen this thing go from a huge heyday of beautiful bargains everywhere you look, with 2 football field size of flea market, basically like an open market of computer parts and all sorts of goodies, ham radios, whatever you're into, basically
Ham radio.
electronic related. Yeah, so that's what these conventions were for. So all these people met up and had a ball. And so sadly, over the past, I'd say 5 or 6 years, they went from this huge flea market outside into basically a gymnasium inside. And you maybe get 12 vendors, 13 vendors at the most, where you used to be in the hundreds. So obviously things like eBay and online, shopping and stuff has really cut that down. But I think what has also happened is technology has moved so fast that people don't, want to sift through old junk and, get some parts or this and that. But I got to tell you, even though I didn't buy too much at the show this year, I still got some goodies. I got the
pictures up, by the way, on my camera.
Okay, sweet. So, yeah, so this is back in 2007 or 2008, the ones with the G4, G3 towers and the beige models. Those were dirt cheap. You see those beige towers, the ones on the left? Those were like $5 or $10. That's where I got my Quadra 840 AV. That's where I got my LC, my LC2, my LC3. At the end of the day, they didn't want to lug them home. You got them dirt cheap.
So you just got to stay there long enough then.
I would stay there all day. I'd make friends with them. I still have some of their contacts and stuff like that. This is indoors. They used to have a tent. Those are some nice clamshell iBooks. They got some PowerBook G3s there. Those were about $180 or so, I think, if one of the stickers says that. But this was back in 2007, 2008. So it wasn't too bad. It was, still an older machine, but it still worked. And so this year. This is just one of the tables that was there. It's all sorts of stuff. You got Palm Pilots, computers, things like that. these are PC shows, so there's not a lot of Mac stuff, which is why back in the day I used to get such incredible deals because nobody wanted the Apple stuff.
I'm guessing those times have changed, huh?
Oh, those times are different now because, well, there's still not a lot of Apple stuff, but when there is something, people think it's worth more than it is. So the photo I didn't include, there was a MacBook Pro 2008 13-inch that somebody wanted like $200 for.
That's because Steve Jobs' DNA's on it.
Exactly. So, I mean, there's still some of that Apple effect or the eBay effect or whatever you want to call it in the real world. And so, yeah, I mean, this is your type of a rummage sale, but all computer stuff. So I love these types of things. So, and then
I wish we had this show like that. I used to love going to that, like early 2000s, mid 2000s.
Yeah, and so basically, this is like a thing of the past, and I'm surprised it's still going. I don't think their attendance is doing too well, sadly. I am trying to partner with them to go through some of their photos and archives and stuff to post some of the stuff. They used to have a neat website, and they switched over. They don't even have the dates of the previous shows anymore, so I had to do some hunting to figure that out. So it's part of my ongoing archive to try and talk to the co-founders, which are still the ones that started it back in '76, and try and get something going here. Because I think it's a treasure trove of presenters they had come there. Bill Gates was there once. You know, there's a lot of speakers and people that have come to this show because it wasn't just a flea market. You had talks and things like that went on. But for me, I just like rummaging through the junk. And the last photo, if you want to put up there, Jay, with the red background.
Red background? What?
I think it's the last one.
Hold on.
I picked up something pretty neat there. I don't know if I get to work, but we'll see. It's not an Apple thing, but it's an Atari 600 XL 8-bit computer. And I have an 800 XL machine, but I can't get it to work. So,
you know, I bought a 1200 XL when I got my
there it is.
iMac G4 that's behind me, but you can't see.
Oh, yeah.
But
so these are interesting little machines. So I want to try and get it to work. The guy said there was something wrong with the keyboard, but he swapped keyboards with a known good one and it still didn't work. So he gave me the little chips that control the keyboard logic. And if I didn't buy it, he was going to basically go home and tinker around with it. But I figured that would be fun to play around with. So I recommend it if you're in the East Coast area. Every early spring they have it. Hopefully it keeps going on. These things are disappearing, unfortunately, and it's really a thing of the past. But my heart starts pumping when I go in there. I get all excited, rummaging through all that crap. so that's my long-winded tale of me having.
We have
fun.
what they call Hamfest here, so that's where we get a lot of stuff.
A lot of these people do that too. So they'll be at a Hamfest during the summer or not. But I went to one once, but it was mostly stuff that I just had no knowledge or interest in.
I'm a ham radio operator, so I go
there you go.
for that. Plus, I picked. In fact, this G4 sitting behind me right here, I picked up at a Hamfest.
Yeah, you get a lot of overlap, so that's why some of these events are cool.
That's
So
why I call them
Is there
for
Sorry, go
stuff
ahead.
like that.
Is there a good resource online where people like yourself have a map or a list of shows and flea markets and stuff like this to see if there's something in my area?
Usually you got to find like one Hamfest or something, and then there's like a web ring type thing you could link to, but maybe I'm outdated.
Here's a good one for you, Jay, especially in your area. It's in Dayton every year. It's the ARRL Hamfest. It's the national convention. It's the biggest Hamfest in the country in Dayton, Ohio. Okay. So I'll get the information to you when the next one is. But
I don't like ham. I like Macs.
No. They have computers. They have Macs. I mean, it's all kind of electronic stuff. It's not just ham radio.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to tell you is that I bought that from a Hamfest. So you'll be surprised what you can pick up. Like Steve just said there. You'll be surprised at some of the things that come out of these Hamfests because hams want to get rid of the stuff. They think they can get a buck or two.
Or these people who are geeky enough to be interested in computers, they're interested in hand radios too. So radios. So it overlaps.
Look on the top of my thing here. That's all my ham radio stuff up here. So
Cool.
I have an antenna sticking right out of my head there, I guess.
Yeah, you know you're in the right parking lot when you see all the cars have those antennas on them.
Yep. Believe it or not, ham radio operators probably were the first PC enthusiasts, and also they get into Apple. They're the true electronic tinkers. They like new toys, stuff like that. So you'll get a lot of good stuff if you go to a ham fest.
Yeah. Oh, and I wanted to show one thing before I forget. Part of the reason, if I could reach it, part of the reason I like going to these things is you get weird stuff that you never knew existed. This is an MPEG-2 like streaming card. It's for a PC, but this is like cutting edge technology from 1998.
Wow.
And this giant card basically, it doesn't do MPEG-2 on your existing on one card. You have to have a VGA pass through to get to your regular graphics card to superimpose the video on it.
That was actually a very common thing in the mid.
Exactly. Yeah. So
coding and stuff.
Yeah, but this is an early one. This is Windows 95 DirectShow compatible MPEG 1, MPEG 2. So it's. I mean, yeah, it's a thing that nobody would use these days. But
hey, I
for $3,
discriminate. I make throw-up sounds with every version of Windows.
It's right up my alley.
Cards and stuff had add-on decoders that you could clip into them and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like the Rage 128 and the blue and whites had the add-on card you could clip into the top of it. It was pretty common back then.
Yep.
Real neat, though.
All right, guys. We're going to move on to our next section here. We're trying to make this a weekly thing, and I thought this was pretty good for today's. What were they smoking? Okay. We did this last week, and I think we're going to continue doing this because I think we have a supply of ID10T guys out there. And if you don't know what that is, then... Okay, I'm making Mike. Okay. But basically, I came across another, thing when I was doing some searching on eBay, and I'll pull it up on here. This iMac Pro, or not iMac, but Mac Pro workstation. This guy wants $4,488.88. I don't know where he got that buy it now price from, but that's pretty much what he wants for it. Okay. Now, here's the thing though. When you start looking at this thing, I mean, he's got a stock picture right there. Okay. This is actually looks like a real picture. Then you looked at the inside. That's another stock picture. Okay.
Pretty much but the inside picture.
Well, the inside picture is a stock picture, yeah, and I think Rocky saw that too. That's not a what he's thinking. It is a 5,1 is what this guy's trying to say.
That's a 3,1 on the inside.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is what he's trying to say. It is a customized Mac Pro Apple desktop audio video animation workstation as is. 12 core, 32 gigabytes of RAM, NVIDIA Mercury engine enabled. I have no clue what the hell that is. Can anybody tell me what that is?
if I'm spending that money, it better work.
Okay, perfect for design, high-end HD editing, 3D. Here's the free bonus: a spare Quadro FX 4000 1.5 gigabyte PCI Express graphics card.
What?
Yeah, that's the bonus. Now, here's the conditions and excellent cosmetic, blah blah blah, all this stuff. You get down here, 32 gigabytes of OWC. That's something that Jay doesn't like. Yeah. All right. But here's the one I want to get down to. Free bonus software. Okay. The Startup OS currently has the latest full version of the following programs installed, which is all these different things down here. Some of them are like iWork programs, Keynote, Numbers pages. You can get those for free anyways. But here's the catch, though. Offered as a bonus, which you may choose to keep or discard. No keys are included and no guarantee for the full version functionality.
So it's worthless.
Yeah. So if you choose to upgrade any in the future. So that kind of is scary right there is when you read something like that right there. That kind of makes you wonder, okay, what the heck is this guy selling? What is he smoking?
Not to mention the fact it's kind of illegal.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
illegal.
Very illegal.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So, anyways, he's got local pickups are free and are generously discounted. I think I don't know what his shipping.
$30.
No, $60. No, he's got $59.42 standard shipping.
So it'll arrive with smashed feet and a busted up case. All right.
Yeah,
okay.
probably.
Back properly.
Well, he did say it has the
shipped
original
mine
box.
for $63.
He
For
says, here's another thing.
Yeah,
Given
but he says it's a 12 core and it's a 3.1.
Yeah, but here's another thing. It's in excellent cause, but given a clean bill of health by the Apple Genius, June 1st of last year, I'm assuming.
Yeah, like they would put their hands on a cheese grater. Come on.
They probably don't even know what a cheese grater looks like.
I mean, it does come with the original box, is what he says. Original
That's
accessories.
$1,000 right there.
Yeah.
That's another $1,000.
But anyways, I thought that was amusing. So you guys might want to stay away from this particular. He's got 100% feedback. I don't know.
It's probably all purchases. That's probably what it is.
Yeah. So
Hey, but if you scroll, I'm watching the auction right now on my screen. I just scrolled down further. I could buy a brand new trash can for $42.99.95.
which is cheaper than this thing.
There you go.
So, anyways, but that's our what were they smoking of the week there. So, if you guys come up with anything that we don't see that you guys think is outrageous or ridiculous, it doesn't have to be eBay. It could be anything.
Hold up.
Apple.
We haven't taken a guess at what we think this dude was smoking.
Oh, yeah. I think he was smoking
cocaine,
some weird stuff.
Crack.
I think it was crack. Yeah,
Just straight up freaking crack, dude.
How do you smoke cocaine?
That's what crack is.
When you're really special, that's how you do it.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, that right there was mine. I found that today, and I was like, and it's easy to find these things on eBay because all you got to do is go in there, search for an item, and then sort by the highest price. That was the first one that came up as the highest price. Besides a lot of trash can Macs. Okay, there were some trash can Macs that people wanted like about 10 to 12 grand for.
What?
Yeah, but for right now, I didn't feel that those were that outrageous. That was more outrageous, I think, than anything.
Brock's like, man,
It's pretty up there.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show everyone what this card looked like. This giant card
that's cool.
out of the box has this dongle. 21 years old, 2 megs of RAM. Woohoo.
See, they thought of dongles back then too, 21 years ago.
oh my gosh, they beat Mac to the or Apple to the punch on that one.
One of my first TV tuner cards didn't even have built-in sound. You had to actually route it in the sound card.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Any questions or anything before we close this episode of Mac Yak?
And for all the viewers, if you want to contribute, the easiest way to get a hold of us, contribute because we are on Facebook, but we're not real active on there on keeping track of stuff. Get on Discord. We are very, very active on Discord.
I got the link up there right now, so you guys can go to it. Come hang out with us. We some of us are usually on right after this, so you can actually talk to us.
And you would have known about us being on the UTO4 if you were on Discord, because we were on there first talking about the idea.
There you go.
That is true.
There you go. So, with that, any questions? We're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. You guys got anything else?
No, we're good. We're going to spend the next week exploring other options apart from FaceTime, because as much as we love it,
I think
this is a disaster.
I think we need to go to, I hate to say it, Skype, because that's a Microsoft product, but I think
they only bought it. They didn't develop it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that's like half of the things that we use at Apple.
Right.
They stole it. They just stole it better than others.
Siri, that's not an Apple product. It was bought.
Yeah, it's originally an app.
Yep.
Why make something when you could just buy it?
Exactly.
Yeah, or steal it, and if the legal fees are less than, its value, just continue.
Yep.
There you go.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys later. You guys have a good one, and we'll see you
Thanks for
guys
hanging
next
out.
week.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Thank you.
I'll have a video next week, hopefully.
All right. Bye, guys.
See ya.